Welcome. You're listening to Run With That. Each episode we pick an idea, like a rock and a hard place, real talk, and onward. Then we, run with that. You'll hear stories from young adults around the globe, including contributions from youth writers, and it's all set to music played by teenage musicians. I'm your host, Spencer Channell. This week, I'm doing something a little different. Each day leading up to Friday's presidential inauguration, I'll be releasing a different phone conversation I've had with various friends from around the country. We talk about how this year's election has affected our lives and how we plan to move forward in the coming years. These conversations come from as early as the night after election results and span all the way up to the current week. This series of episodes will be called Trumped. Today's episode features Isaac Gomez, a sophomore psychology major at Ohio State University and first-generation Mexican immigrant.
Leading up to election night, I remember I was at a Halloween bash, and I was walking to another, a house party, and we were crossing a frat, and this guy who's he's obviously drunk, he's tripping, but he goes up to me and he asks if I have a passport, and I'm completely baffled. I've been having a good time and things. I have to mention that he's white and our age. He goes up to me holding an American flag, and he asks again, he's like, "Do you have a passport? Are you legal here?" And I don't respond, I'm just baffled. I'm am I seriously being asked this by someone? And he keeps asking, and then I'm just like, dude, just chill out. And then he says, "Make America great again. Vote for Donald Trump." I just kept walking, and this guy kept walking beside me, and then I just push him over. He just decides to walk back, and he keeps yelling, "Make America great again."
And wait, you pushed him?
Yeah, he was drunk, and I just wanted to get him away. And I'm a generally calm person, but he needed to get away because he was close to me. He was close. I texted my brother. I checked up to see how he was doing. Cause, I've been hearing these things about public schools and just gross things that are happening. And he told me that a couple of people went up to him, joking, but they went up to him and they asked, "How do you feel now that you're going to be deported?" My brother's he's a very easygoing person. He's very playful, but he was actually offended by this, and he told me that he just said, "You're hilarious. Why don't you piss off?" He responded like that, and that he told me that he responded like that, and for me that's whoa, okay, you are angry. Some of my friends say racist jokes, and I try to laugh along with them, but you can't like help but feel kind of it's an ugly feeling, like the feeling of discrimination, the feeling of like racist jokes, and like I just can't help but wonder what did my brother feel at that moment, because I don't think he's ever actually experienced anything like that. I hate saying it like this, but like I feel like almost exposed. Like I see a white male, and it's like I've never thought like this before. But like I see a white male, and all I can think is, did they vote for Donald Trump or not? And like, you know, the other day I was the day after the election, I was in a pretty bad mood, but I was walking back to my dorm, and there was a group of 3 guys, and they were like all laughing, and like they were visibly in a good mood, and like it occurred to me, unfortunately, like it shouldn't have. I don't like thinking like that, but it occurred to me. I said that they probably voted for Trump because they were talking about the election, and they were like laughing about it, and I didn't make eye contact or anything. Like I felt like almost just a little ashamed, you know, that like Clinton lost, and like.
Did you vote?
Yeah, I voted early. It was, I mean, why wouldn't I, right? It's your responsibility as a citizen.
55% of millennials and younger voted for Clinton. 37% voted for Trump, but the problem is that only 19% of our whole demographic even voted in the first place.
Yep.
So it's like, if Clinton and Trump don't get us off our asses to go vote, then like what's going to? So many members of our generation didn't even vote and are just railing on Facebook and now protesting #NotMyPresident. But it's like, well, I mean, if you don't participate in the voting process, then you're kind of stuck with what you get.
Yeah, I completely agree. I always tell people, if you don't vote, don't complain about the government, you know? Like, just don't. Like, you can complain if you voted, and you can complain if you got involved, and, like, to some extent, you know, like, you told your friends to vote, you know, but, like, yeah, it's unfortunate. So few millennials vote, and, like, my other roommate is one of those people who's, like, he's like, well, I don't really feel like voting. I'm like, wait, why not? And he's like, well, I haven't even registered. I'm like, well, why not? And he tells me, he's like, well, I just feel like my vote isn't going to change anything. And I'm like, okay, yes, I understand that a single vote might not change anything, but that, like, mindset in, like, the multitude that it is, you know, like, so many people think that way, that makes a difference.
It's so defeatist.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like a learned helplessness, but is it though? Like, is it like we're not really helpless?
Right, we're helpless because we choose to be.
Exactly.
What do you hope for? I mean, we have to move forward in Trump's America. What do you see that looking like if it's successful?
I think this is I think it's a wake-up call for a lot of us. I hope it serves as a slap in the face. I know a lot of my friends, like Grayson, for example, he says, you know, he's gonna be even louder now. Like, he's gonna, like, have a louder voice. I actually got in touch with the mayor's office to see, like, okay, what can I do? Like, what am I supposed to do? I hope this is the wake up call that our generation, like, needs. I think many of us are gonna be even more involved, or we're gonna be telling our children someday, you know, this is why you need to vote, because Donald Trump will be your president.
Politics literally is talking to each other about important societal issues. Do you think we talk to each other enough as a generation, or too much, or what do you think our sort of discourse looks like? And is it good and healthy, or is there something wrong with it?
You know, there's a difference between talking to each other and talking at each other. And I think we talk at each other a lot. It's interesting to think about it this way. I think our generation, we're very accepting, like we accept minorities of all sorts, the LGBTQ plus, Muslims, people of color. But at the same time, we're almost intolerant of differences in opinion. And it creates almost a hostility towards each other that it's not productive at all. It's, it doesn't move us anywhere. We just regurgitate facts, and we like to be condescending towards each other with these facts. Like someone's expressing their frustrations, we try to prove their frustrations wrong instead of saying, I believe you. I believe that, yes, these are your frustrations. What can we do to fix them? Instead of saying that, we just say, you're wrong. And political discussions they're not intellectual enough. They're not human enough. Like, we almost ignore the human. I think Trump really, really, really heighten those tensions, and the next 4 years are going to look very similar, actually, I think, to the last 8, where it's very divided, because it's Donald Trump, it's his inflammatory language that has caused us to feel this divided, Ooh. I don't know. I actually can't tell you where. Like, how are we going to improve, or what? Because
You've been listening to Run With That, created, edited, and hosted by Spencer Channell. Today's episode was called Trumped, and Isaac Gomez and I discussed our thoughts on the presidential election. Today's music featured a piece I wrote specifically for this Run With That series, Trumped, as well as ambient sketches by Nick Weber. If you enjoyed this episode of Run With That, give us a like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spencer88Keys. Also, share us with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Google, Instagram, Snapchat, Reddit, Pinterest, MySpace, LinkedIn, and with your quixotic friends on AOL Instant Message. If you'd like to get in touch, you can send an email to runwiththatpodcast@gmail.com, all lowercase. This week in Run With That, I intend to release an episode every day, so hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.